Alright, so good morning everyone. Today we will continue discussing the philosophical perspective of the self, and these are the remaining philosophers that's who studied the self, alright? So we have the first is John Locke. So John Locke is also known as the creator of tabula rasa, and it translates to a blank slate. So tabula rasa, the idea that something or someone is entirely unmarked and uninfluenced. So according to John Locke, tabula rasa is all about the self that is experiencing the sense of experiences. So when we talk about the sense of experiences, it is the five senses in the human being. So we have, as you can still remember, we have the sense of taste, the sense of touch, the sense of smell, the sense of feelings, and the sense of nakikita, seeing. Okay? So by that, if you already sense, if you can feel it, if you can see it, then it is tabula rasa, alright? Senses of experience. So, the philosopher John Locke referred to the mind of a young person unaffected by experience as a tabula rasa. It is the sense experiences is the collective experience. So, pag ang isang tao ay nakakakita, nakakasense ng smell and see, ibig sabihin may self na siya. So ang self is according to John Locke, the self is referring to the senses of the experience. So when we talk about the senses of experience, it talks about the tabula rasa. It is the idea that something or someone is entirely unmarked and uninfluenced. Alright, so next is we have David Hume. Okay, the self, according to David Hume, the self is that to which our several impressions and ideas are supposed to have references. Kailangan merong references. So, kailangan may teorya. So, kailangan may basis. Para yun kay David Hume. Okay? Yun yung self para sa kanya. So, ang para sa kanya, there is no self without the impression and the idea. Okay? Because ang impression niya dito is the reality and the idea is the impression. For example, idea, okay? Idea, love, okay? If you do not experience what is love, you know what is love by the word love kagad. Pero if you do not experience love at all, then love, the word love, is only the idea. Is only an idea to a person. But if the person naka-feel siya ng love, okay, na-experience niya na yung love, ibig sabihin, it is reality. It is already the perception of reality. So, according kay David Hume, this means that the self is nothing over and above a constantly varying bundle of experience. It is all about experience. And if you do not experience such thing, for example nga yung love, then it is the love, the word love is an idea at all. So, kailangan may experience mo. Kunyari, anger. You know what's anger? It is an idea. But if you feel or experience yung anger, then it is already a reality of perception. That is according to David Hume. That is the self. It is a bundle of experience. Alright. Let's move on. So, medyo mabilis tayo, no? Kasi itong mga natitirang philosophers regarding kay self, very short lang yung background nila na study. Right? Yung mga highlights lang talaga nila. Okay, let's move on kay Immanuel Kant. So, according to Kant, both of these theory are incomplete when it comes to the self. Okay? So, according to him, we all have an inner and an outer self which together form our consciousness. The inner self is comprised of psychological state, and our rational intellect. So yan daw yung inner state. And outer self includes our sense and the physical world. Okay, when we talk about inner self, ito yung mind. From the word itself, rational intellect. So as we go back again, di ba? Rational is according to the previous philosopher, the intellect is the brain, right? The mind. So ang inner self is the mind, and the outer self is the physical world or the body itself. Okay, yan po yung kay Immanuel Kant. So, if we are going to reflect on it, the mind organizes our experience. So, the mind is the organizing principle. The self is to produce of reason, which is the consciousness. Reason, mind constructs the reality. So, kung ano iniisip natin, as you can still remember our definition kay self, it is, our self is reflect as our own consciousness. So, according naman kay Immanuel Kant, kung ano yung iniisip natin, yun yung magre-reflect sa atin. It is all about the consciousness. And again, the inner self is the rational intellect, and the outer self is the physical world or our body. Now, let's move on kay Gilbert Ryle. So, as you can still remember, it is René Descartes, I think, therefore I am. Ngayon, kay Gilbert Ryle naman, I act, therefore I am. So this one is the arguing that the mind does not exist and therefore can't be the seat of the self. Para yun kay Gilbert Ryle. It's because dito pa lang sa quotation, I act, therefore I am. So it simply means na kung anong pinapakita, yun yung ako. Okay? For example, pinapakita ko kasi sinasabi niya to eliminate the mind dualism that create the last philosophy na sinabi ng self is same as the bodily behavior. Okay? Example lang, gumawa ka ng mabuti. Okay? Or isa kang mabuting tao. Example ito sa I act, therefore I am, ha? Gumawa ka ng mabuti as a tao. Therefore, ikaw ay mabuting tao because of your behavior. Right? It reflects the self because of your behavior. Ngayon, kung pinapakita mo gumagawa kang masama, therefore, ikaw ay masama. Okay? I act, therefore, I am. Your behavior reflects your personality. Your behavior reflect on yourself. Okay? And sabi nga dito, Ryle believed that self comes from the behavior. Kaya niya nasabi, I act, therefore I am. So we are all just a bundle of behavior. And the way we act is the same of who we are. Alright? Magkakaintindihan po. So again, kay Gilbert Ryle, I act, therefore I am. It means our behavior is the reflection of ourself. Okay, now let's move on si kay Paul Churchland. Paul Churchland is modern na siya na philosopher that studied the self. Alright? So, according to him, dualism asserts that the mind and the body are separated. So, para ka naman kay Churchland, kay Mr. Churchland, hiwalay na naman. Okay, kagaya lang yan, hiwalay lang talaga pag hindi kayo pinagtagpo. Pero according lang yan kay Churchland na dapat ang mind and ang body ay separated. Okay? Disagreeing with this Paul Churchland, a modern-day philosopher who studied the brain. So, it's all about, ang pinag-aralan naman ni Paul Churchland is the brain. Kaya siya nag-came up sa self. Rather than dualism, Churchland holds to materialism. So, the belief that has nothing but matter exists. Of course, ibig sabihin, pag wala kang utak para kay Paul Churchland, wala kang self. Okay? The mind is only product of imagination. The brain is connected to ourself. Para sa kanya, ang mind lang na nasa utak is part lang or product lang yun siya ng imagination. So, ang para kay Paul Churchland, the brain is connected to ourself. So, brain ang nakafocus naman sa kanya. So, it means the physical brain is where we get our sense of self. Pag wala kang utak, wala kang self. That is according to Paul Churchland. Okay, now let's move on to the last one. It's Maurice MERLEAU-PONTY. Maurice MERLEAU-PONTY is a French philosopher. Okay, French philosopher, and he believed that the physical body to be an important part of what makes up the subjective self. So self is embodied subjectively, the mind and the body intertwined. So para naman kay Ponty, ano naman siya, parang kabaliktaran naman doon kay Churchland, si Ponty naman para sa kanya ay iisa, intertwined, ibig sabihin kambal, iisa lang. Okay? So, hindi nagkakahiwalay. Sana all hindi nagkakahiwalay. Pero that is according to Maurice MERLEAU-PONTY. And this work asserts that self and perceptions are encompassed in the physical body. So, the physical body is part of the self. Our body is part of our self. Okay? So, the perception of the mind and the action of the body are interconnected. So, kung anong nasa isip, ano yung katawan, yun yung self mo. Okay, kung anong iniisip mo, lumalabas din sa katawan mo. At kung anong katawan mo, yun din yung nasa isip mo. Kasi they are interconnect. And both of them is part of creating kung sino ba ikaw. Nagkakaintindihan po ba? Alright, if naiintindihan, so I hope you learned something from a very, very short discussion from John Locke, David Hume, Immanuel Kant, Gilbert Ryle, Paul Churchland, and Maurice MERLEAU-PONTY. Alright, so thank you for listening. So I hope you stay well and stay safe, everyone. I would like to have to say good luck and God bless on your examination. Alright, so God bless and stay safe, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.